Now we are going to look into the last part of system development lifecycle, that is system maintenance and evolution. So in the system maintenance and evolution, so first thing that we need to understand is system operation. That what is the system operation? That how the operation process should work and how that operational things of that system should work. First of all, we need to define what are the purpose of that system, that we need to define, and how that process should work for the operation. So this is the goal of the first thing, that from systems engineering background. Then second thing, for the new system, you have various type of design and testing that you need to keep on doing operational. So that testing and designing part you need to take in care when you have developed this new system. And then the operation part, that various trainings are required for the users, for the various developers, for testers and developers also need some testing. So this type of operation are being taken care by the system engineering in the system operation. Then operation is basically related to some flexible things, like you have various problems incurred in various type of running systems, and there are various periods and fluctuating workload, means you have various type of number of persons that are required, there are various number of systems, and various components are required, various energies are required. So you need to have various fluctuating resource requirement, and there are various problems that may arises with time. Then with large systems, you have actually do develop large system, then those systems have various evolution. Why they evolve? Because of the changing requirement. So the changing requirement makes those system evolving, and the large system are have to be long enough, and these systems are having the inherent cost because of this type of evolution. So what are the costs that are being related to? Some of them are like some changes that are technical, some changes are because of the business perspective, some subsystems are being changing because of the interaction of various components, and there are various problems that may arises. Then there are various rationals, means logics, that are something wrong with the old design. So you need new design, original design. You need to make various decisions according to them. So there are various things that rarely occurs, but you need to do it. So you need to evolve the system. Then there are various system structure that are corrupted. So the components may be corrupted. There are interface interaction may be corrupted. So you need to change them, because you need to change those corrupted system component or some interfaces. Then you need to evolve the whole system. Thereafter, there are various existing systems that need to go through maintenance phase, and there are various maintenance phase that happens in the existing systems. These type of systems are sometimes called as legacy systems, because they become long running systems, and they are having keep on doing some maintenance and all these things. So these are legacy systems. Then when there is a system, you put them in use. So there are various operational processes that are required to maintain, as compared to the development part. So after the development part, the product goes to the users using that project, but still you need to maintain some operational part. For example, a company sell out some car or some vehicle, but they also need to maintain the service of that car or vehicle. So that servicing part should need to be proper, that is operational part. Then the system itself is inevitable for the changes, means there are various changes that are required in the car or any mechanical device or in any software that you deal with. So you go for the changes, and according to the business requirement, these are the changes. So you work according to the system's environment, and you do the complete changing process and do the proper servicing of that system, and proper operation should be provided to the user. Then the cost factor in the system evolution. What are the costs that are related to the system evolution? So various proposed changes are need to be verified very carefully. Why? Because they might be from business perspective or the technical perspective. So all these changes are need to be very carefully analyzed. Why? Because all the changes are costing you something, means that require money, resource, effort, human resource are required. So this type of things are being measured. Then subsystems are basically never completed, means always there is something incomplete and independent things are there. So these subsystems keeps on evolving with time. So there are various changes which keeps on happening, and side effects are there. So there are various adverse effect on other systems as well because of the changes in one system. So the change in one system leads to change in second system or third system, fourth system. So there are various reasons for original design and some decision to be taken according to the some purpose. So these type of sequencing process should need to be taken care, and there are various responsibility for the system evolution, and you need to work out with various decisions that are need to be made it for the system evolution. Then system, obviously everything have some aging effect. So after some age, the system start becoming corrupted and the structure becomes old. So there is cost involved to maintain that structure, and you need to invest a lot more for doing the changes and increment and betterment of the aging system. Then the requirement evolution and change management. So this thing we had already discussed in previous classes. Like you have various requirements that keeps on changing with time. So there are various problem analysis and specification that you have to do. That problem analyze, and then you do the change in the requirement documentation specification. Then after the change analysis, what are the costs that are involved to do the changes? Then you go for whether that change is approved or not approved. If it is approved, then you go for the changing in the whole project and the system maintenance or management part. So this is the figure for that, the same thing. Initialize the understanding of the problem. What are the changes that are required? Then initialization of the requirement would take place. Then what are the changes and understanding those problems? Then what are the changes that are required? Then how to identify those problems which are being changed? Then do the problem analysis and do the change specification. Then what are the cost involved to do those changes? Then you go for the implement. If it is approved, then you go for the change implementation. And what are the revised requirement specification, you develop that. And there's one more important thing, as we had just discussed about regression testing. So regression testing has various regression test suits. What is in that regression test suit? There are various regression test cases inside those regression test suits. What they intend to do? They intend to do check changes. As the changes grows with time, this regression test suite also tends to grow with time. And how to do efficient regression testing? So there are various techniques to do the efficient regression testing, like change impact analysis. So in the change impact analysis, you identified what are the part in the whole system that are being changed. So you run those test cases which can test those changes. So this is what change impact analysis, that whether that change has been done appropriately according to the test cases, subset test cases. So you find the subset test cases with the help of change impact analysis. Thereafter, what are the techniques for regression testing? So there are three basic techniques. That retest all means checking all the test cases and do the checking and integration part. Thereafter, you do the expense analysis, that whether that changes and that checking of that whole thing, that whole system has been done properly or not. Then you do the analysis of expenses, that whether those test cases are being run or not run. Means because in the retest all, you are running all the test cases that are possible. So in that case you are incurring more cost because you are running all test cases. Now because you run all the test cases, you have ensured that there is no error at all. And this is what is the purpose of retest all. And you have tested all the test cases that are being built and possible. Thereafter, regression test selection means instead of running all the test cases, you just select some of the test cases and you run only part of those test cases inside the test suite, and reducing the cost that was incurred in the retest all. So this regression test selection is much better, you can say. And this cost selection and selection would actually require and optimize some of the test case time and maintenance time, and this will actually save some of the resources that are required for testing. Thereafter, test case prioritization, that there are various priorities for doing the testing. There are various test cases, and you assign some of the test cases with higher priority and some of the test cases with lower priority. So the test cases with the higher priority would run fast because they are important ones, and thereafter the lower test case priority would run, and thus you have the test case prioritization. So this is what is regression testing. Next, we'll see one SDLC example of cloud service lifecycle. So I hope you have enjoyed this system evolution and maintenance part.